At 32,000 feet, the world's most powerful aircraft is flying, Air Force One. Inside, a revelation is about to shake global politics. U.S. President Donald Trump is returning from a visit to China, but the focus quickly shifts to the raging conflict back in the Middle East. A long and terrifying war between the United States and Iran has kept the entire world holding its breath. The tension was palpable, the consequences dire. But then, shocking news sweeps across the globe, abruptly changing the course of the conflict. A ceasefire has been reached between the United States and Iran, an immediate halt to the bloodshed. The world was stunned. The world immediately began to wonder, what happened? Did the world's most powerful nation step back? Or did Iran suddenly surrender? The truth, however, was something else entirely. This was not a move taken for peace or surrender. The ceasefire was granted as a favor. A diplomatic favor so powerful, it had the ability to halt a major international conflict. This kind of unexpected diplomatic leverage instantly shook the entire landscape of global politics and warfare. Aboard Air Force One, journalists gathered to hear the president's update, but what they heard was almost unbelievable. Trump revealed that he himself was completely against the ceasefire. He stated openly that he did not want the war to stop. So why did the president agree to halt a war he wished to continue? The answer was a single country, far from the immediate conflict zone. The reason behind this astonishing diplomatic decision was Pakistan. Trump made it clear to the world that he agreed to the ceasefire only at Pakistan's request, as a significant favor to them. This decision wasn't based on military strategy or a peace negotiation. It was purely a concession to a third party. The president went on to praise Pakistan's prime minister and field marshal, calling them outstanding people for their role in brokering this unprecedented request. A major, dangerous war was stopped, not by a peace agreement between the warring nations, but by the diplomatic request of an outsider. Just imagine how deep the game of diplomacy runs behind the scenes, allowing a third country to influence the cessation of hostilities between global powers. This reveals the true, often hidden, complexity of international relations and how much is decided behind closed doors. Following the ceasefire, did America's stance towards Iran soften? Absolutely not. President Trump's position became even harsher and more dangerous. The ceasefire did not lead to a softer approach. Instead, Trump's policy towards Iran hardened significantly. Trump's core, unshakable decision was clear. Iran would not be allowed to build nuclear weapons, regardless of the cost. This firm resolve was quickly followed by concrete demands from the U.S. administration. Trump openly warned that Tehran would have to give up its stockpile of enriched uranium under all circumstances. There was to be no compromise and no middle ground on this issue. It was a take-it-or-leave-it ultimatum. Despite the ceasefire, the doors for meaningful peace talks were almost completely shut. The most shocking proof of the deteriorating situation came when Iran attempted to reopen negotiations with a new peace proposal. Iran sent America a new peace proposal, a letter that potentially offered a path to ending the conflict forever. What was Trump's reaction? Unbelievably, he stated he only read the very first line of the letter before discarding the entire proposal. The reason was simple. Iran had not provided a firm guarantee of completely ending its nuclear program, triggering Trump's terrifying rule. The tension did not subside. A horrifying secret emerged, pushing the situation toward a global nightmare scenario. Iran's negotiators revealed a shocking truth to U.S. counterparts that dramatically increased the gravity of the situation. According to Trump's account, Iran admitted that previous American strikes had severely damaged their nuclear facilities. They claimed they lacked the technology, time, or expertise to safely remove the nuclear fuel from the damaged sites. This was not just a statement, it was a massive threat, suggesting the potential for an unintended nuclear catastrophe at any moment. Welcome to an analysis of the complex geopolitical dynamics between the U.S., Iran, and the significant entrance of another superpower, China. Amidst the long-running conflict, a major superpower, China, enters the story. The scale of the war placed immense pressure on all involved. Under this pressure, the U.S. leader arrived in China, hoping for a significant breakthrough from Beijing. The U.S. was hoping China could use its influence to bring about a resolution to the escalating situation in Iran. The pivotal meeting took place at Zhongnanhai Garden, where the U.S. leader met with Chinese President Xi Jinping to discuss the critical situation. A central point of discussion was Iran, and America's strong desire for the Strait of Hormuz to remain open for vital global trade. The two leaders engaged in intense discussions regarding the potential paths forward to de-escalate the conflict. The U.S. reiterated its firm stance that the Strait of Hormuz was essential and must remain open for the free flow of global commerce. The U.S. leader conveyed his strong belief that the unfolding events in Iran were, quote, madness, and needed to be brought to an immediate halt. Initially, the U.S. exerted enormous pressure on China to take a decisive step in convincing Iran to back down. The expectation was that China would leverage its diplomatic and economic ties to push for a resolution from the Iranian side. The U.S. Secretary of State made it clear, warning that any support from China to Iran would severely damage the already fragile trade relations between the two giants. Despite weeks of engagement, the U.S. leader's approach took an unexpected turn that baffled observers. After patiently waiting for Chinese assistance for weeks, the U.S. leader abruptly released a major public declaration. The statement boldly declared that the United States no longer required any assistance from China in managing the conflict with Iran. He claimed the U.S. would win the war under any circumstances, asserting it could achieve victory without any international assistance. This entire story reveals a fundamental truth in international politics. What appears on the surface is rarely the complete story. The diplomatic maneuvers and public statements were layers covering deeper strategic decisions and hidden agendas. The apparent ceasefire, presented as a global peace move, was in reality a diplomatic calculation made specifically to benefit Pakistan. This global battle is not just fought with weapons. It is a complex game fueled by ego, national pride, and the exchange of diplomatic favors. In this terrifying game, even one small misstep could be enough to push the entire world into a conflict that no one would be able to extinguish.